Hello, are you considering selling your home for sale by owner? So if you are, I would highly recommend protecting yourself in every way that you can. Um, it is something you absolutely can do. You absolutely can sell your home by owner, but there are certain risks and there are certain protections that you need to decide and keep in mind. The first is safety. So I would recommend go ahead and come up with a game plan. Like at what time frame are we going to stop allowing showings? I'd say around 6 p.m. No showings later than 6 p.m. because there's not always a great motive for somebody to be in your home after dark. You always want to be careful. How are you going to screen these people? How are you going to background check to make sure that the person you're letting into your home may not be a danger to you or your people? Another thing is, are you going to allow anyone to come into your home, or are you going to only allow those who are pre-approved and can buy the home? Do you know how to spot a fraudulent pre-approval letter? Another thing is, if someone sees your sign, pulls over, and knocks on your door, are you going to let them in your home? I would highly recommend that you did not. I would recommend that you have them call the number on there. Go ahead and get their phone number. Write down some of their information and pay for a background service that can allow you to do a little check to make sure that they might be safe to allow into your home. And just be very careful when it comes to that. Another thing I would recommend is throughout the process of having your home listed, even when it comes to neighbors, safety can be a concern. So, make sure you're keeping to a reasonable timeline. Don't be letting people in your home, even if they're neighbors, late at night. How are you going to protect yourself against a lawsuit for fair housing? So it's not always the offer that you accept that can get you sued, and it can be the offer that you didn't accept. You've got two equal offers. You met these people as they came into your house, which is dangerous, and you went with one offer over another offer, and they were about the same. Now this offer that you did not accept, a month, 2 months, 3 months after closing, decides that they want to sue you because you did not accept their offer, and they feel that it was a discriminatory issue because of a look you gave them when they entered your home, or for whatever reason. So why did you pick their offer over mine? We want to sue for discrimination. How are you going to prove that you were not discriminating? A good thing about having a real estate agent is that they are kind of a mediator between you and the buyer. We don't advise that you watch your Ring doorbell. It's the written offer that matters, not the person. It doesn't matter what color skin they have. It doesn't matter what their background is. It's so important to keep fair housing in mind and to follow the rules and regulations. And watch what you say, because some terms you may use may be a violation. So as we proceed forward, another thing to keep in mind, that it's good to familiarize yourself with contracts. There are a few different kind of contracts. One thing I'll say before we get into that is that, are you prepared to negotiate with a real estate agent? Because just because you do not want to use a real estate agent for the sale of your home does not mean that the buyer didn't want to be protected for their purchase of a home. So most of the buyers that are out there shopping on the market right now have entrusted a real estate agent with the transaction. So you may be negotiating with a trained negotiator or someone who knows this contract front, back, and side to side. And how are you prepared to know which lines to look at, which lines that are left blank to look for, in order to understand what you are signing as well? Because remember, they are the buyer's real estate agent, not your real estate agent. So the buyer has representation. Are you just going to say no to everyone who has a real estate agent? And a lot of times that buyer will request that the seller be willing to pay that side of the commission, because it is customary in our area for the seller to pay both sides, or for the seller to pay commission when it comes to a real estate transaction. So they may ask for that, so just be prepared. As we take a peek at this is the Florida FAR bar contract, and you can kind of see through it. There's a lot of lines. Each one means something different, obviously. Do you know what a title company is? Do you know what numbers to put in these lines over here? Just familiarize yourself with it. This is 14 pages long, and there's a lot of terminology in here. Do you understand what assignability is? Do you understand what financing contingencies are? So as we continue down, there are certain lines that, if left blank, and I'm no attorney, but there are certain lines that if they are left blank, it can put you as a seller on the hook for tens of thousands of dollars depending on the value of your home. So it's not always what lines are filled in with numbers that can cost you money. It's certain lines that are left empty that could cost you money, hypothetically. And certain boxes that are checked. It all means something, so just familiarize yourself with what this information means. Do you know what a special assessment is? You might want to familiarize yourself with that term. And inspection period. But we're getting to the point of the contract where there's a lot of terminology, so it's important to read through all of this because you're going to need to know it for the real estate transaction. And then addenda. What addenda are important for this particular transaction? Do you know if your home is USDA, if it's approved for USDA financing? If you say, I want to sell my house for cash, that's okay. But you're going to eliminate 3/4 of the buyers out there. Most people who purchase a home are going to want to use financing. Not everybody has cash. So do you know what type of financing? Will this home pass for a VA loan, do you think? You think this home would pass for a VA loan? Does it need extensive repairs? Do you know the ages of all the appliances? Do you know the information on all the major appliances and systems in the home? Do you have permits for those systems that you can prove that they are, that they were permitted and legally installed? Can you get those permits? Another thing is like VA versus FHA. Do you know how much of a repair limit you're willing to allow, and do you know what that means? So there's so much on the contract. It can be intimidating. It's important to read through it though and know your information. But this is just one example of a contract. There's others. Some contracts, hypothetically, the home would be sold including the washer and dryer. Other contracts. In Florida, the major appliances are, come with the house, such as like a refrigerator, the oven, the dishwasher if it exists, certain things like that. So know your contract, know what is going to be coming along with the house. Do you have a survey? Is it the right type of survey that the title company is going to want? Can the buyer use this and save some money, or is it an unusable form of survey? Do you know what would qualify it as a useful survey, as a survey that could be used by the buyer where they wouldn't have to order a new one? So, like I said, just take your time to familiarize yourself. There are a couple places. There's one other place in the contract other than additional terms that hypothetically a buyer's agent might put in some notes that would put you on the line for more cash or more money or funds to be added to the buyer. Some buyers have been wanting sellers to pay for their closing costs or to offer a credit or rate buy down so that they could afford to buy the home. So just protect yourself. The whole moral of the story isn't to scare you off from listing your own home. Protect yourself, because when it comes to safety, that's the most important thing, is just to be safe throughout the process and keep your people safe throughout the process. Then when an offer comes in, then you can look through the numbers. Make sure you price it right, because if it sits on the market for a long period of time, buyers naturally assume something's wrong with it. Other people who didn't get it to the closing table, so I likely shouldn't. Let's not look at it. And I've heard that many times. And I will say the honest truth is that a lot of buyers will look at a for sale by owner home and they'll be like, they don't even have an agent. we could throw a lowball offer. Investors seek out for sale by owner homes because they feel that, hey, I'm not going to have to negotiate with a trained negotiator, a real estate agent. I could just throw some offers at them. They may be desperate, and they may be desperate. I could throw a number at them, and maybe they'll accept it. So it doesn't always. It does. When it comes, the National Association of Realtors has a website. The NAR has a great article that talks about what they found. They did a study on, does a for sale by owner really net more money for the seller than if they used an agent? And with the negotiation of a real estate agent on top of professional pricing of the home, on top of the services rendered by a real estate agent, the numbers were super high when it came to, I don't remember the exact numbers offhand, but more sellers netted more money when they used a real estate agent, even after commission, than the for sale by owner sales had produced. So, with that in mind, some people feel that a real estate agent doesn't do a whole lot, but the truth of the matter is, when I list a home, I have gone to several classes and stay on top of the latest rules, laws, and regulations when it comes to the contract, when it comes to fair housing, and when it comes to marketing. I have systems in place that I spend hundreds and thousands of dollars a year on to market your property professionally, to get the best photography out there, to really highlight your property, to make sure that other real estate agents know that your property is available for sale. And not only that, I have means of searching for real estate agents with a buyer whose criteria fits of what your home is. So if they have a buyer that says, hey, I got to have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, I have a way of searching that and sending that agent your property to say, hey, listen, this would be a great fit for Sarah or whomever it might be. So there's so much more than just this. The sign in the yard is nothing. We maybe 3% of our calls come from the sign in the yard. It comes from the professional marketing and from it being inserted into the MLS. And I definitely have not received a ton of lowball offers when it comes to houses I list. And I hear for sale by owners definitely do have a ton of lowball offers and a lot of strangers that want to go and see their home. And we have systems in place as real estate agents that regulate who gets to go in the home, and only by, this safety protocols that we may have for ourselves and for our sellers. So people who want to go and see a house with me, they're pre-approved. They've shown me that they're serious about buying a house, that they've gone and talked to the lender. I run a background check. Everything's good. We're going to go check out that house. We're going to go see it. So just know that, there's systems in place, and real estate agents do more than just open a door. The contracts and the extensive knowledge about additional addenda that people will need. Certain buyers need help. Certain buyers are working with newer agents who may need help. So an experienced agent like myself can find solutions throughout the process, can find solutions as we run into snags or bumps throughout the transaction. I have extensive knowledge and experience that can get us to the closing table. And I come with a huge team behind me that's sold hundreds and thousands of homes, and we're able to get our buyers to the closing table and our sellers to the closing table. So it's a big deal to be able to actually close. Anybody can list a house and throw it on the market, but to get a transaction to go through all of the motions and all of the steps and reach their deadlines and timelines, and to get to that closing table is not as easy as you may think. Anyway, I hope this video is helpful. Again, it's not to scare you off from listing your own home. I want you to be informed and to be safe more than anything else. And if you decide to use a real estate agent and you're in the Emerald Coast of Florida, I'd love to help you out. If you'd like to just talk about the idea of listing with a real estate agent or what you can expect from listing your own home, we can have a conversation. You can call me about that. I advise on real estate all of the time. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much for checking out my video, and I hope it was helpful. Bye-bye.